Could reforming the U.S. Supreme Court lead to stronger gun laws?
We need for groups like the Senate to act and make sure that the Supreme Court knows that they aren't just essentially a several-person dictatorship that gets to determine everything that we do in this country.
In 2022, the Supreme Court released the Bruen decision, ruling that New York's concealed carry law, which required proper cause to get a permit for carrying a concealed pistol or a revolver in public, was unconstitutional. The concurring justices say that the decision was due to the need for gun laws to align with historical tradition of firearm regulation.
What that does is basically says if a gun law wasn't around at the time of the ratification of the 14th Amendment, or it wasn't around at the time of the ratification of the Constitution, it's invalid, which makes sense, right? Because a musket is identical to an AR-15 that has an enormous amount of power and is a semi-automatic weapon.
In the years since the ruling, gun laws were repealed across the U.S., including ones meant to prevent domestic violence abusers from acquiring firearms, as well as those limiting the sale of so-called ghost guns, which are void of serial numbers and untraceable. David Hogg is a survivor of the 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He says something has to give.
Gun violence has gotten a lot worse since Parkland. Americans have bought more guns than ever. It's not because the majority of Americans don't agree with creating stronger gun laws. It's because we have a tyrannical minority of several Supreme Court justices on our court that are making decisions on the behalf of 300+ million Americans, even though they did not get there in ethical ways and are not making decisions that reflect the view of the American people in the first place.